Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim, the YouTube channel that's dedicated to all runners everywhere. I'm Tim, and I upload new videos every week that are all about running. Today, I'm looking back at the Hoka Clifton 7. This is a shoe that I have over 50 miles on, so it's a good opportunity for us to take a second look at the shoe, see how it's holding up over time. We're going to look at some of the durability issues that shoes can sometimes have. So we'll take a close look at the upper, see how that's holding up, talk about the midsole, as well as take a look at that outsole. One of the concerns that I had initially with this shoe dealt primarily with the upper. And so we're going to talk about that stretch in the upper that I was concerned about initially. And if you want to skip around to the parts of this video that are of most interest to you, I tried to make it easy for you. If you open the description, there you're going to see that I laid out some chapters for you. Just click on the timestamp for the part of the video that you want to watch, and it's going to take you right there. Hopefully, it'll save a little bit of time. First, I put together a run demo just so that you can see what this shoe looks like to run in them. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about all that stuff and a whole lot more. So the Clifton is Hoka's, by far, their most popular running shoe. Definitely a flagship shoe for them. And of course, this is the Clifton 7 that we're talking about today. The Clifton 1, I think, was probably one of the most popular versions of the shoe that they've had. And they've gone through some, different variations over the years. Not all of them have been as popular as the 1 was. But now I think they're kind of back on top, so to speak, with the Clifton 7. It's a really comfortable shoe to run in. I've really been enjoying it as a daily trainer. It's really soft. Just overall, just a pleasure to have on my feet. Now, it costs $130, so that's pretty much on par with a high quality running shoe these days. It's still a lot of money. It's still 130 US dollars. That's a lot of cash. But when you compare it to the market that's out there, it's pretty much on par with what other companies are getting for their high quality daily training running shoes as well. Now, this is a neutral road shoe. It's fairly lightweight for a daily trainer. I wear a men's size 9, and I put it on my scales. It came in at 9.1 ounces. So that's not terrible. Anything under 10 ounces for me is usually a pretty decent weight for a daily trainer. So, I'm happy with that. It is a comfortable shoe to run in. I haven't had any issues with hot spots over time. But let's just dive right in and we'll zoom in on the upper. We'll start there because we're going to be talking about some durability concerns that I had with the shoe, as well as some of the performance, just to see how the shoe's really been doing over the last 50 miles that I've been running in them. And when we look at the upper, one of the things you're going to note, now it's an engineered mesh upper, which a lot of the running shoes are today. But you're going to notice that it has these really wide perforations in the shoe. And one of the issues or concerns that I had was the stretch in the shoe. And the upper, while it's very comfortable underfoot, I had some initial issues with just trying to get a lockdown feeling across my midfoot in that upper. And sadly to say, that really has not changed. So if you're looking for a daily trainer with a solid lockdown feel in the shoe, that's really not what you're getting with the Hoka Clifton 7. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy running in it or that it's not comfortable. I just don't have that solid feeling that the shoe is, that I'm really connected to the shoe so much. It's more of a comfortable feeling, like being wrapped in a blanket or something along those lines. But because this material is so stretchy, and you see those big holes in there, that it's just got so much stretch to it that it doesn't seem to matter, how much I'm locking my laces down, and it's really kind of pulling that eyelet chain together. The more I run in it, it seems like the closer that eyelet chain gets to one another. It just doesn't want to stay locked in. I feel comfortable when I take off running in it, and I feel pretty solid, but it only takes a couple miles and then it starts to loosen up, or feel loose to me anyway. I still enjoy putting a lot of miles on a shoe because it's comfortable underfoot with that midsole material, but it's not one that, if you absolutely need to have that lockdown feeling, like I said, this isn't going to be the right shoe for you, I don't think. So let's just take a look at the eyelet chain on the shoe. They got a lot of reinforced material both above and underneath the neck cage area. The one thing I do like about this eyelet chain is you can see that they're basically slits, and they've got that plastic over it. So when I was pulling the laces out so I could show you the eyelet chain and get a better look at the tongue, the laces came out pretty easily, and that's not always the case with my running shoes. Sometimes I have to really fight with the laces because that plastic on the end of the laces gets hung up in the eyelets, and I didn't have that issue. So, if you like to change out your laces and put in a special pair that you enjoy running in, it's going to be pretty easy to do it with these. And again, I can't say that about every pair of running shoes that I own, but it is the case here. Now, talking about the tongue, it's very padded, it's soft, it's got a nice feeling to it. It's a nice cloth-like feel to it. This shoe overall is kind of warm underfoot. I can't say that it's highly breathable. It's always been warm for me. I run in warm weather, and and the weather today was in the 20s, and I felt really comfortable in that 20-degree weather. But it does run a bit warm when it's in the 70s or 80s or sometimes even 90s when I'm out running. But back to the tongue of the shoe, and the reason I kind of got off track there a little bit is sometimes the tongue, if it's too thick, it can just make your whole upper feel hot. And this one, it's thick, but it's not overly done. I guess it's probably pretty much right in par with what they were trying to go for with the comfort of the shoe. It is gusseted or semi-gusseted. The gussets are a mesh material, so it does try to help it be a little more breathable. But it just, it's just a little bit warm. The shoe is just warm underfoot. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, so let's look at the padding around the heel collar and the tab of the shoe. It's got plenty of padding around that area, and I didn't have any issues with, like I said, hot spots. It's comfortable around my ankles. You will notice on the tab of the shoe that there's a little bit of wear there. And that's really the only sign of wear that I've had on the upper over these past 50 miles. And it's just really slight. And I think it's just because of the way I grab a hold of that tab to help me pull that shoe on. So really nothing concerning me at all with the durability of the upper. Like I said, and the only issue was that little bit of wear that you can see there on the tab. Looking at the counter, lots of structure here. Hokas are innately very stable shoe for a couple reasons. One of the feelings you get when you're in the shoe is kind of like sitting in a bucket seat of a race car. So imagine that's your heel sitting down in the shoe itself. So they've got lots of that material that sets up, and you can see how it almost kind of mimics a bucket seat, where your heel just kind of sits down. And I like that feeling. It gives you a really stable feeling underfoot. But back to the heel counter, that just adds to it. They've got lots of structure there to help you stay locked in, so your heel's not really moving around. The only issue I had was because I couldn't get a really snug down feeling across the midfoot when I was out running, especially if I'm going downhill a little bit. My foot seemed to want to slide forward just enough that I felt a little loose in the heel. But it was only when I was going downhill. The rest of the time I felt pretty good. It's got a nice heel pocket that's there with that midsole material, so I did feel pretty solid that way. So in looking now at the midsole of the shoe, they've got lots of their compressed EVA foam underfoot that gives it a really soft, cushioned ride. It's not considered to be a maximum cushion shoe. It's kind of in that balanced area or moderate, but I would say that it's got to be closer to that, the cushier side of things for me anyway. I really do enjoy running in the shoe a lot from the comfort standpoint. It's got 32 millimeters stack height in the heel and 27 millimeters in the forefoot, so it has just a 5 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe, which is nice. I don't feel like my heel hits the ground prematurely when I'm running. And I strive to be a midfoot striker when I'm running, or even up on my forefoot whenever possible, because I think I can generate a little more speed that way because I have less ground contact. And the shoe does well at that. I haven't had any issues, like I said, with that 5 millimeter offset, feeling like my heel's getting in the way. So let's flip it over and we'll take a look at the outsole to see how they're protecting that compression EVA foam that they have underfoot. And you can see that they have some rubber in the heel where they should have it, right? Because that's probably the area that you're going to see wear first typically. And it starts kind of in that midfoot up through the toe. They've got plenty of rubber there. And again, it's holding up. I don't see any areas of concern that rubber is going to wear out prematurely. And I don't see where the EVA foam that's exposed is really chewed up at all. So, and I've had this shoe out on gravel, on pavement, on concrete. So, pretty much all of the different terrain that you can possibly imagine that you'd be out running in this shoe. And I've had it there, and it's performed really well. And along those lines, that rubber does a pretty good job of keeping you stuck to the road, so you don't have a really slick feeling. So if the pavement's a little bit wet, I haven't had any issues feeling like I've been unsafe, especially when I'm trying to pick up the speed or go around corners. It's performed really well from that respect too. Overall, I would say, this shoe is a real joy to run in. It has that early stage of meta rocker. So especially when I'm mid to forefoot striking, I kind of get that feeling of that meta rocker. It's not nearly as pronounced as it is in the Rencon, for example, or maybe some of the racing shoes like the Carbon X or the Rocket X. You can really feel the meta rocker technology in those shoes. This one, it's there, but I felt it more when I was picking up the pace, getting closer to, that forefoot running style and my foot strike. And then I really felt smooth going through my gait cycle. So overall, I'd say this is a terrific choice for a daily trainer. If I'm going out on a shorter run, 3-mile run, 5-mile run, it feels great. But it's light enough, at 9.1 ounces that if I want to take it out on a 10 or 11 mile run, I feel pretty confident in doing that as well, that my legs aren't going to feel so tired at the end of the day that I'm not going to be able to do anything else except for maybe lay on my couch. So overall, I enjoy the Clifton 7. I think it's a great daily training choice. I think it's well worth the $130 that I paid for them. I really enjoy running in them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.